I'm Mike Ratcliffe, and I'm the Chief Knowledge Officer of Fould & Company. I've been involved in competitive intelligence now for some 20 years, and I'd like to go and share some of my learnings over these years with you in this series of 5 short videos, which try to go and take a look at all the key aspects of competitive intelligence. In my first video, I talked about what is competitive intelligence. In the second, I cover the forces that shape markets. And in the third, I talked about the rivals and how they compete. And in this fourth in the series, I'd like to focus on doing CI research. Firstly, you need to agree what type of research program is going to be best for your needs. There are two main types of programs: monitoring or deep dives. Monitorings are ongoing programs, generally multiple year, and they will be designed to help you track the dynamics of you or your client's competitive environment and allow you to understand the evolving competitive stories of each of your main targets. Whilst deep dives will be designed to go and drill down into key issue areas in highly targeted one-off projects. To be able to put tactical moves by your competitors into context, you have to be able to create a strategic framework for your competitive environment first, and how your key competitors fit into this, and also, by the way, make sure you're watching out for those disruptors. As I talked about in earlier videos, I always try to create a story around key competitors. If the competitor is publicly traded in the USA, I know that I'll be able to go and pull historical quarterly financial data and use this as a great basis for building this story. For example, let's take a look at Tesla. I pulled the quarterly data for some 6 years, and you can see that it paints a picture of growth of the company and the relative importance of 3 key reported segments: sales of EVs, service revenues from EVs, and the energy group. This picture indicates that the company's overall growth has certainly slowed or potentially stagnated starting in late 2023. But when I take a look at the energy group, it seems to be doing something completely different in the opposite direction, as its profits seem to have been growing at some astronomical rate starting in 2023. It's this type of unexpected dynamic that should catch a CI professional's attention and demand further investigation. When you do, it may well reveal a major disruptive strategy, and in the case of Tesla, this is right, because Elon Musk has publicly stated that he's actually looking to his energy group to become more important than EVs. This raises key questions around Musk's strategic priorities, which, if it had not been in the initial list of key intelligence questions, or KIQs, this needs to be added very quickly. And it's a good example that when you start to do your research, you may well find that you have to go back and revise your KIQs to go and better understand what's happening competitively, because your understanding of the market has changed. The 3 types of research that go into a monitoring project: there's internal research, where sales or customer service colleagues pass on insights that they've picked up from the market, as well as email conversations, and it could also be win-loss intelligence. All of this could be captured in CRM systems like HubSpot or Slack from Salesforce. And then there are alerts or internet searches or secondary research using online tools like Google or AI-based services that come from companies like AlphaSense or Crayon or Clue, or customized-based secondary research programs which we in Fould run for clients. And lastly, there's primary research, which will nearly always be outsourced to specialized vendors like Fould. If one monitors specific competitors over 1 or more years, it's relatively easy to go and start to understand their general strategy. And if details on sales and service interactions are linked in, a CI manager can also start to gain great insights on the tactics of a specific competitor. This is especially true if win-loss research is also added in, plus primary, through interviews with, say, ex-managers or experts in specific areas of the marketplace or supply chains. One has to be aware, though, of the limitations of each of these 3 types of research. Internal data from sales and support staff can be of great value, but it also can be biased to only the good news, with the poor customer interactions filtered out. Internet data can be simply wrong or just old. There are highly reliable data sources on the internet, such as government databases, company filings, patent databases, or even shipping details through bills of lading. There are also sources that could be highly biased, like analyst calls where only softball questions are asked with only good news answers. Social media comments on products and services can be highly biased to negatives. And added to this, the internet can recycle old news, plus news can easily become viral, giving it an importance that it may not deserve. I call this news hype. For these reasons, using external independent third-party vendors like us in Fuld to conduct primary research can give really high value and unbiased insights. Deep dives, on the other hand, are one-off projects, and they're generally a combination of all three types of research and often have a big focus on primary. Part of the job of CI is to pull together disparate pieces of information to create intelligence. A great example of this is a project that we ran for a client a few years back, monitoring a small biotech as it was going to launch its very first drug in the USA. 1 year in advance of the planned launch, the company started to hire its sales force. It always amazes me the level of detail that recruiters give in their job ads. So by monitoring these on sites like Indeed.com, we saw that the company planned 12 different regional teams and what the size of each team was going to be. By monitoring LinkedIn, a fantastic source for employees, teams, and organizational structures, we could see when the individuals joined a specific team, and by looking at their LinkedIn profile, where they had worked before, and whether they had come from a pharma company with a drug in the same disease area or had zero experience of the pharma market. This allowed us to go and rank the strength of each new hire and hence each team it was built up. We updated this picture on a monthly basis, allowing our client to track where this competitor was likely to have geographic strengths and geographic weaknesses. This turned out to be really high value, allowing our client to develop a segmented defense strategy, which was actually confirmed by primary, which we undertook with physicians once this drug was launched. I can't emphasize enough the value of primary research. In today's world, it's possible to use lead generation companies to arrange in-depth interviews with individuals and be very specific about what you want from their expertise and their background, which only adds to the real value that you can go and get out of primary. Attending scientific conferences or trade shows can also be highly valuable. These can be invaluable in terms of better understanding competitors, their image, their products, and their services. Not only can you see and visit their booths and talk to their sales reps, listen to their presentations made by managers, find relevant posters or product demos, and talk to their presenters. In some sectors, new products are actually demoed 1 year in advance of their launch, making attending these trade shows and seeing these products even more valuable. Another high-value source on the internet is YouTube. YouTube videos can give you great access to salespeople talking about their products and even showing how they work, plus issues that they sometimes face. The internet is constantly developing new tools and opportunities for CI. If you go back, say, 20 years, we see that there's been an amazing growth in online data. Databases that were created by publishers as analog references for their magazines and directories have become digitized and made available online. Internet traffic is captured through multiple digital services and can be high value for monitoring B2C products and services, as well as digital-based competitors. Services like LinkedIn, which was actually bought by Microsoft back in 2016, as I said, is an invaluable source, certainly for the USA and increasingly for the European, in terms of their company employees, their job functions, team sizes, and their focus. AlphaSense has become a leading online service for financial data and textual data about individual companies and uses AI-based large language models extensively to help customers search and nearly instantaneously build detailed company profiles. The use of AI in research isn't new. Google has been using it for many years to go and help you search the internet. Now we have ChatGPT. That can also be of great help, especially when you're starting off a project and you need to quickly get up to speed on a particular market. What's its structure? Who are the key players? But at the moment, it's not as up to date as Google, and you have to be very careful about using its output without double checking it. Remember, it's only a computer. It's like garbage in, garbage out. It's not intelligent. But as I mentioned, AI can be very powerful as an analysis tool, and I'll talk about that in the next video. There are also a number of great internet tools that give you quick views on companies, competitors, and trends. Great for building stories. LinkedIn gives you 2 years of monthly figures on the total number of individuals linked into any company in their database, a great proxy for revenue for private companies. Google Trends lets you look at trends of simple search terms over multiple years. And SEMrush has great data on search terms over time and which companies are interested in key search terms and potentially could be competitors. Part of the job of a CI professional is to keep up to date with all of these new research tools, whether they're online or offline. So all I can say is be constantly curious. So I hope you found this very quick look at CI research. Hope it's been useful. So again, please join me in the next one, which is about analysis and particular workshops such as war games. And as always, feel free to go and contact me through my email at mratcliffe@full.com or find me on LinkedIn. So see you in the next video. Cheers.